Friday. It's Friday Rant. I'm David Solomon in crazy, weird weather Montreal, where yesterday it was 25 degrees, I don't know, about 75 degrees Fahrenheit, and today it's 8, like 50 odd degrees. It's crazy. Stuart is playing with his brand new camera, in case you guys are wondering why he's kind of moving back and forth. He's in sunny, beautiful Florida. Anyways, all is good in our area, and we're appreciative post Yom Kippur, many of us who have fasted this week. A lot of reflection, time to think, time to, look at the world and appreciate what we have. And then we look at and trying to understand about, speaking of appreciation, trying to understand a little bit about what is in the mind of the Democratic Party. It's funny because when a presidential candidate loses, Stuart, when a presidential candidate loses, they become relatively obscure. The winner wins, the loser kind of goes to the sideline, continues or whatever. Except only one person who seems to never go away reminds me of a virus, and that is Hillary Clinton.
Well, Stuart, Hillary Rodham. Actually, it's Hillary Diane Rodham Clinton.
And I'm going to let you start off. I'm going to let you start off and share with everybody what's our issue with Hillary.
Well, I think that the world has gone upside down. When you lose, and I got some numbers that I took down that I was given. Let's talk about the popular vote of Hillary Clinton. 54% of the United States felt that Hillary Rodham Clinton wasn't capable. 56% of the American population surveyed believed that she should have been indicted for the server scandal that she was a part of, and not afforded any clearance like the president would, right? And just to give you a comparison as a side cliff note, 75% of Americans believe that Bigfoot exists. So I don't know what that number is in Canada, but it doesn't really matter. When you lose that badly, it's time to go away. David and I were talking yesterday briefly, and we discussed other presidential candidates that just disappeared into the woodwork. People that have been disgraced and people that weren't disgraced, like a Mondale, not disgraced, and like a disgraced Nixon. Okay. The object is, if you win, you go on. You lose, you may run again. But when you are eviscerated by a non-politician in such a public way, maybe you need to rethink your career path, be a grandmother. Bill, I know he's busy and has a couple of girlfriends again. Maybe you got a couple of girlfriends too, Hillary, but it's irrelevant. You are irrelevant. And to have The View and sending your number one operative over there to try and test, is there any relevance of a run at a 2024? The answer is utterly no. And you know what? It's not because you're a female, Hillary. It's because you are a non-relevant person. You're too old, out of touch, and too possibly optically dirty for what the American people are crying for. Because to be honest with you, why would you want to run? I mean, what, to try and go after Donald Trump, the guy that beat you? What is the up game, Hillary? Hillary, you're irrelevant. Your daughter is more relevant and polls better than she does, David. And she's not even a true politician. And I find it absurd. Well, no, I find it typical that The View is at the center of this conversation. And Aberdeen showed up on The View to discuss it. And Fox had to run with it. And you know what? I'm happy that they did. Because it takes a village to keep a ball rolling. and it looks like Hillary's camp is just a bunch of has-beens. David?
Well, Stuart, okay, so let me just, my thing is with the Democratic Party is rating Hillary out. Stuart, please stop that. Really stop it. Hillary is a disruptor. She's an absolute disruptor. She plays the femme fatale. She lost the 2016 election and claimed she should have been made president. That Donald Trump took the election away from her. That there should be election reform because she won the popular vote. How interesting how when the loser loses, and I saw this here in Quebec, they want voter reform, but when Obama was in office, he didn't change anything. The win was a win. Everybody wins. You're the king or the queen. If you lose, you lost, Hillary, and you haven't stopped whining about the loss for 6 years. You keep blaming. You didn't look in the mirror and say, what did I do wrong? You blame the deplorables, the Republican voters out there. You insulted more than half the American population. Didn't matter. But for the Democrats who continue to say that they're the party of the people, you parade Hillary Clinton, who insults and offends people. That tells me a heck of a whole lot about the values of the Democratic Party. But Hillary is also loved by the media. And why? Because anything that is anti-Republican or anti-Trump is a wonderful thing to parade out there. And Huma Aberdeen, who was on The View yesterday, went out and alleged that the reason Hillary lost is because it was near impossible for a woman to win. Now, we've heard that with African Americans. In 2008, Barack Obama proved the country wrong. Then in 2008, it was okay to elect an African American president. But no, we cannot elect a woman because she's a woman and she's held to higher standards and blah, blah, blah.
But David, don't we have a vice president that's a woman?
You know what, Stuart?
Hang on. David, if Hillary was that capable, if Hillary was that important, and if Hillary was that loved, Joe Biden would have picked her to be the VP.
Joe Biden, let me tell you something. Let's dig into that, what you just said. Barack Obama had her for a Secretary of State for only one term.
Yep.
Why Joe Biden didn't want to bring her in? She's a disaster. Let's be realistic. What did she do on foreign affairs? How did she ruin foreign affairs?
Are you a sexist? You don't like Hillary?
No.
David,
no.
Are you a racist because you don't?
Don't give me that. Don't shovel that crap at me because I'm looking at credibility of an individual, right? Hillary Clinton, as Secretary of State, was a disaster. And
David,
yet
I wrote the numbers here. She was 54% by the American people, not a credible person.
But Stuart, let's look at her track record. And I brought up a gentleman by the name of Michael Oren, who was the Israel's ambassador to the United States, a hardcore Democrat at heart, an American-born, moved to Israel, became the ambassador, and he wrote in his book Ally. He goes, the person who threw Israel under the bus was not Barack Obama, it was Hillary Clinton. And the Clinton Foundation made tons of money because she promised all of her allies out there, she'll win the election and she's going to give them what they wanted. And when they lost, all that money was gone. Hillary Clinton stinks of, I don't know. I don't know what the word I'm going to use here, but it reeks. And yet the Democrats parade her out as if she's some victim. And that,
you have to be a victim. Listen, when you're a loser, you have to be a victim. When you're a winner, the opponent had to have been a bad person. This is the DNC's playbook for about 40 years, right? 40 years they've been running this.
Stuart, think about it, Stuart.
Over and over and over again.
Think about it. It was proven, thanks to a cyber hack, that the Democratic Party wanted to coronate Hillary Clinton to be to be the nominee. Get rid of Bernie, get rid of all the other candidates. It was just going to be Hillary. It was proven, Debbie Wasserman Schultz got caught with her pants down with this case. Others got caught with their pants down. Hillary was coronated as going to be the candidate in 2016. She lost. She got the popular vote, which, quite frankly, again, in states like New York and California, which have a bigger population, yeah, great. But in your electoral system, with the electoral college over there, she lost.
Yep.
And if she would have been credible, had she gone to the states that she should have gone to, and that was the criticism, she would have lost. But she also had that server. She lied to the population about the server. She's been lying ever since. She's been covering up her sins and Bill's sins for political gain. And yet the DNC and the media are willing to forgo all of that in order to ruin the Republican Party.
But also, David, you got to understand that these people will say anything, do anything to get power. There are two defenses that are currently running with Donald Trump. It's the Hillary defense and it's the Nixon defense, according to Dershowitz, the Harvard emeritus attorney, who was the favorite Democrat attorney until...
Excuse me, hardcore Democrat, card-carrying Democrat. He said it. He was a hardcore card-carrying Democrat.
He is a hardcore Democrat, but the Democrats, if you're not with me, you're the enemy. And that's part of my issue, is that Dershowitz basically came out that, if you loved Hillary and feel that she was treated fairly, then you have the Hillary defense. If you think Richard Nixon was treated properly, then you have the Nixon defense. These are standards in politics, but standards in the legal judicial system. You cannot use and weaponize the judicial system around an election. And to top it all off, David, not again to get off topics, but the Biden clan is just as dirty as the Clinton clan. It's a very interesting statement. Do you know why people that are involved in cover-ups? Do you know why people that are involved in cover-ups are absolutely drilled to the core of the legal system, typically? Because most of the time, you don't hear about the good cover-ups. And the Clintons are truly a good American cover-up, in my opinion. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, she would have been in handcuffs. Again, but anyways, when Sasquatch, Bigfoot, is more recognized than you are, maybe it's time to go out to pasture.
Stuart, here's the
disappear.
Thing. Hillary Clinton will continue to play the victim, hoping she comes back and wins an election. You called her old. I don't want to talk about age. For me, honestly, I'd like to see her go. I'd like to see her disappear.
Yep.
I'd like to see her out of the media. But again, she will continue to be paraded. And Huma Aberdeen, who, it's very interesting to see how she continues to use the victimhood, that she was a woman that she lost. If I remember correctly, isn't there about 51% of America is female? Okay. Yep. And yet they're saying she couldn't win as a woman. Like, what does that tell you about the credibility?
Don't blame the system. Blame the person.
Blame people. Exactly. Blame you're a victim. You're just a victim. You're a victim. You're a victim. And you know what, Hillary, you just go, please. Ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of another week of ranting. It's a short week for us, of course. We'll be back again next week. Same bat time, same bat channel, ladies and gentlemen. We're live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, noon Eastern. Download us, watch us on Rumble, Facebook Live. You can watch us on YouTube. You can download us on all the podcast channels. We're there. Share us, love us. We look forward to seeing you guys next week.